So there's this CNN report that's out today confirming more covert CIA operations in Mexico where they're blowing up cars. I covered something about the CIA in Mexico with this war on cartels a couple weeks ago, and oh yeah, there were two CIA agents that were killed or something, and they were involved in some kind of operation. We're just finding out about this, and it happened apparently earlier this spring. A mysterious explosion blew up a car carrying an alleged cartel operative in broad daylight on one of Mexico's busiest highways just outside of its capital. So, alleged, first of all. So, they're killing this person without a trial. They don't know if this is actually a cartel operative. Besides that, even if it is, they're putting a bunch of people's lives in danger, whoever happens to be driving around them on the highway. Francisco Beltran was killed instantly, along with his driver. Their bodies found slumped over in their seats after the concentrated blast. Video and pictures of the attack on March 28th show a quick burst of flames with the car continuing to roll forward, drifting off the highway. Known as Alpayan, Beltran was accused of being a mid-level member of the Sinaloa cartel, one of Mexico's most notorious drug trafficking syndicates. Mexican security analyst and a source familiar with his activities said. Like, that is like Mexico to deal with, I would think. Can't just be conducting operations in people's, like, what if China had just in 2015, descended on America and took out Jeffrey Epstein? I mean, nobody would be complaining about it, you know what I mean? But it would still be considered an act of war by the US government for sure. The Beltran operation was a part of an expanded and previously unreported CIA campaign inside Mexico, spearheaded by the agency's elite and secretive ground branch to dismantle the entrenched cartel networks. As long as the drug trade remains in the same legal status that it is under, there will be cartels delivering drugs to people. It's just the way it is. Yeah, exactly. To soften the sovereignty of South American countries. That is very, very true. Most people, they only think about the war that is currently on the news, not realizing that there are dozens of military actions that the US is engaged in dozens of different territories throughout the globe. And this was kind of the thing that I was complaining about last night with the no new wars thing and how that's such a cop out because you're already engaging in a whole bunch of them. You need to stop them as well. But yeah, these CIA operations, I don't think they're something new. I do think that Trump is probably more brazen with them. He wants to do them more often and pushes them as much as possible, which I think it makes things sloppier. I think it makes it easier for the public to find out about it. Not that I'm ever in favor of anything like this happening. I'm just saying, like, him being sloppy about it is the reason why we know. Since last year, CIA operatives inside Mexico have directly participated in deadly attacks on several mostly mid-level cartel members, and then they're going to be replaced by other people. That's the thing. You can't just, it's not how that shit works. So the whole point is because they want to be conducting military operations in Mexico. They want to be doing as much as they can to project their force, I guess, as they say. And it's crazy. This is like from CNN, which is surprising that this would first come from them because usually they're not publishing stories about undercover CIA operations. And of course, half of this article is them justifying it. So I'm trying to skip through to the information. Yeah, see, this is the thing I was just talking about a minute ago. The first hints of a clandestine CIA presence in Mexico burst into public view late last month when two U.S. embassy officials, who are also CIA operatives, were killed in a car accident in the Mexican state of Chihuahua. Hours before, they and two additional CIA operatives had taken part in a raid on a meth lab and was led by the director of Chihuahua's state investigation agency. So in that case, there was questions about whether they were working with the Mexican government or not. But the Mexican government denied that, which I think they would anyway, because it would probably be very, very unpopular if they were cooperating with the CIA. But, we've seen now military operations in Ecuador. They bombed a dairy farm in Ecuador. They did what they did in Venezuela. They've been bombing all these boats in the Caribbean. They were working in that bribery scheme and whatever with the the leader of Honduras, and then they were trying to plot against the more left-leaning leaders in South America. So it's like he's really, really trying to take over that hemisphere, that part of what he sees as the United States sphere of influence, which includes Greenland and all that shit too. It's like I remember in his inauguration, he's like, "We will expand the territory of the United States," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I'm like, he's just saying this shit right now, like a day after he's telling all these fucking idiots no new wars.